Welcome each and everyone. I am super happy to be here and I am ready to go. Y'all know me already. Actually, I saw one person that was waiting and then now I'm ready to come on live and then it seems like, but that's okay. We'll wait. But anyway, welcome to the Wake Up and Thrive live streaming today. I'm so happy for you to be here. We're going to dive into it. As you see the title here, we're talking about sensitive versus thick skin, right? Which one are you really? We want to talk about that today because this is vital. I'm seeing too much of this behavior of people are super sensitive, for any little thing. And we want to talk about thick skin. What is the difference? What are the benefits of them? We want to talk about that today. But before we get into it, I would definitely love for you to give this live stream a thumbs up. Also, so YouTube could push it out. We know how the system works. And also, before we get into that, I would love to know, how is your day? How is everything has been going? Happy Wednesday. And I know I'm supposed to start at 3:30, but we're just gonna hold off for a little. But just try to get everybody to come in before we start this live streaming. So today, as you see the title here, we're talking about sensitive versus thick skin. Which one are you really? Um, my Wake Up and Thrive brand, you guys know I am promoting my brand. I would love for you to support my community, Wake Up and Thrive, and I would also love to feature you inside of my community. So please, when you get some time, you can always grab one. Also, let me see if I can go ahead and tag one here while we're waiting for everyone to come in on this live stream. So y'all, let me tell you, it has been super busy for me, but nevertheless, today I felt like it's the best day to come up here and to speak on this topic, right? Why are some people more sensitive? I want to talk about that today. So for those who just hop in, I would love for you to hit this live stream and so YouTube could push it out, okay? It's 3:19 right now. I'm gonna wait for a few more minutes, maybe like 5 minutes more, and then we'll get right into it. All right. For those who just hop in, let me know, reveal yourself, let me know where you're tuning in from, and we'll get started. So we have King Grayson. Hey, thank you for being the first one hopping in on this live stream. Appreciate you, my brother. I really do. Go ahead for me and thumbs up this live stream. Today we're talking about sensitive versus thick skin, right? We live in a world where we can't talk to people anymore. You can't correct anyone anymore. And because of this, I felt like the world is going upside down. That's how I personally feel. Los Angeles, California. Okay. So thank you for tuning in from California. Appreciate you. Yeah, so super sensitive, thick skin. I don't know, whichever one you want to call it. We're going to talk about that. And why are some people, let's talk about it. And let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you're sensitive or do you have thick skin? And let me get into the sensitivity part, right? And this is my personal experience, right? I feel like sensitivity comes from not being corrected. It has a lot to do with your childhood experience. Um, I feel like if you're not being corrected too often, and sometimes you get away with when things are wrong, no one corrects you, and so you continue to go along with it, and then here comes you become an adult now, right? And then different people may surround you. You may get different approach, and this upbringing, right? This super sensitivity of you, where no one can literally talk to you about anything. It just becomes a habit and it becomes a behavior now. So you could never be corrected. So now you go in the workplace, now you go to school, now you speak to, you met someone, and every little thing you become super sensitive, right? Sensitive man should never be sensitive. Right. Absolutely. Please correct me. Don't let me look stupid. Exactly. Right, right, right. And people, it's so deep, right? Let me tell you, it is very deep when you're sensitive, even when you're supposed to help someone. When someone needs help, you would never even say anything about it because you're sensitive. Your subconscious mind thinking that maybe if you say something, maybe it's going to be a different outcome. And it goes on and on and on and on, right? But I'm going to break it down. Hello, Dr. Soimi. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Happy Wednesday. How are you doing today? Absolutely, King Grayson. Looks Yes, I have it on. Yeah, you hear it, right? Crispy clear, right? I love it. I love it. When I go back and I watch my live stream, it sounds, I love it. I also like the other one, but I find this to be much better now. Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking about sensitive versus thick skin, right? So, and I have my little notes here, y'all, because sometimes I kind of like ramble sometimes, and I want to make sure we're getting straight to the point. So, low emotional boundaries, right? Struggle to separate their feelings from other, leading to overwhelm. It it goes on and on. It has a lot to do with your upbringing, right? If your parents don't speak to you on things that you may do wrong, if you don't take a lot of constructive criticism, then the sensitivity part comes into the equation. And as a result of that, the world cannot approach you. And truth be told, when you're super sensitive, life is going to be hard. That's just the truth of the matter. Life is going to be hard because we live in a world where the social norm, right? We our social skill, right? We got to communicate with people each and every day, and sometimes people from different background, right? Their approach may be different from yours, right? And so sometimes we have to know, like, we got to work on our personal development. We got to work on our personality, right? Because being super sensitive you'll make a lot of stupid decision when you're too sensitive. I'm sorry to say that, but that's what it is. Thank you. Yeah, I'm in my pink today. I'm in my pink. Right. So, let's get into it, right? Another part that has with being super sensitive, it comes from past trauma and rejection as well. That has a lot to do with it, right? Things that you may have gone through in the past, trauma. Yes, the list goes on and on. But you know it's factored in many different ways, right? But when you're super sensitive and sensitive to every little approach, it will impact some part of your life, because then it's going to hinder your growth, right? It's going to hinder some things that you may want to do in life, but because you're so sensitive or afraid or have fear, things of that nature, it may impact your growth, right? Perfectionism as well. Want to be like or do everything right, or even small feedback. Some of these things will happen because truth is life isn't perfect, right? But if you're not able to take constructive criticism, then it's hard to grow, because sometimes we got to look on the other side. We may try to do things a certain way, right? But truth be told, the outside is seen it another way. And even though there are things that we may want to focus on, sometimes when you're getting feedback, that's the only way that we can make improvement, because we need to make feedback, right? So if you're sensitive about something all the single time, it's definitely going to hinder your growth. Okay, so all right. So Dr. Soymi said mix of sensitive and thick skin. Okay, so if there's a mixture, right? Some of those mixture could definitely be like past trauma to something that may happen, something that you maybe, like you're insecure, or something that you're probably isn't good at, or it's just very dependent on the situation, right? Because we have a lot going on in our life, right? I am super sensitive, right? I'm gonna tell you what I'm super sensitive. So we have different parts. With my kids, I'm sensitive about my kids, right? Like, yes, I am sensitive. I'm thick-skinned for everything else. Just sensitive about my kids. I care about my kids. I don't. My kids can't go everywhere because certain little things, right? And that's the truth. But majority, I can say I'm thick-skinned. I'm not afraid to take feedback. We got real TV. Hey, Kenya, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I tend to find myself in between too. Okay, and that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I am like that. Like, I'm sensitive about my kids, but I'm thick skinned with everything else. Like, I don't mind taking feedback on if I'm not doing something right, if I say something wrong, if I started a business, I want a feedback. If I cook something and it doesn't taste well or something is missing, tell me, tell me, tell me. I'm not going to be all up in my feelings, but I'm sensitive when it comes down to my kids. So we can't be, we got to give and take, right? But why does these things happen? Like I said, past experience, not being corrected, maybe something that bothered us and it revisit us, different things. Thank you for being here, Kenya. So all different things, right? But we got to know when to turn it up and turn it down. Do women really like to take correction? You know what? I don't know about them, but Dr. Swaمی, I can speak on me. Yes, I like to be corrected if, like, I have a conscience, right? Let's just say I have conscience. So deep down, like your subconscious mind, your conscious can tell you if someone approach you and say, you know what, you didn't do this right. You feel it. But some women, I don't know, they probably feel like they know everything. I don't feel like I know everything. Okay? But if I'm knowledgeable with something, for me, yes, we can agree to disagree, right? At some point. But for the most part, I can't speak for every woman, okay? Some men too much. I can't, but men are the same too. Men don't like to be corrected. And I feel like some men are sensitive. What are your thoughts on that? I want to hear your thoughts on that. Do you feel, I guess it depends on how the correction is delivered, but across, well, I guess so. I mean, let's say you cook your food, right? And let's say you don't have all the season in your food and someone know how your food tastes, right? And they may say, no, this food is not good. Are you going to be sensitive about it? When you know deeply, you know that you're missing some of your season. You were short of butter. You were short a little bit of adobe. You were short of a few things. Like, we got to really think about it. Can't be sensitive about that, but take some criticism and say, you know what? Okay, I admit it. Okay, I'm missing a little bit of season here and there. You're not trying to justify it, but you know that if you had all the season together, it would have tasted good, right? I'm just saying. And no one knows it all, and no one has it all. Exactly. We got to learn from each other, right? But let me tell you, sometimes when people come to you and they say, oh, everybody's attacking me and everybody's doing this and everybody like always complaining about something. Now we got to be real. We got to be real, because sometimes if everything bother you, like you go into the workforce, the workplace, and everything is bothering you, sometimes you got to do some self-assessment, right? Okay, am I really too sensitive? Think about it. So those are the things that we have to really think about. If you feel like you're being attacked from left, right, and center, everybody's attacking you every day, and it's an everyday thing, then you gotta observe yourself now and say, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm sensitive to this. Maybe I'm not doing things right. What can I change in the process of it? It's getting more interesting, the discussion thing. Right? We should be open to correction as we are to the commendation. That is true. Listen, life is about growth, right? And we all want to get to be better each and every day. We supposed to be, every day we supposed to be becoming a better version of ourselves, right? So life is about just continually making improvements. So being sensitive for every little thing is definitely going to hinder our growth. And as a result of that, even when you have your own children, if you can't be corrected, how are you going to train your child? Your child is going to replicate the same behavior, because obviously if your child is doing anything wrong and you're not correcting, then it's going to pass on, which is why we got to be careful on how we are raising our children, right? When our children is doing something wrong, we have to nip it right away. We got to learn to correct them right there on the spot. Let them know, open that communication barrier where we can let them know the reason why I'm approaching you on this, you know, and we should not be afraid to do it either, because whatever is going on right now, we're building up that social skill, we're building up their personality, right? Not to have like this strong personality, but to rather prepare for the world so that they're not sensitive to everything. Because let me tell you, sometimes that people mix bullying when you're sensitive. You get what I'm saying? There's a difference between bullying and you being sensitive. Let's see here. We should be committing as much correction or comment more than we correct. That's right. Right. So we just have to learn to, use wisdom with everything. So let's talk a little about thick skin, right? So I know Dr. Soybe said you're in between, right? What do you feel like you're sensitive on? If you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. I already list mine. I told you what I'm sensitive about my kids, right? Um, but again, it just all depends. It really all depends. But with strong personality, let me tell you, I believe if I were to measure it, I would say I have maybe about 80% strong personality versus being sensitive, just because of my background, my upbringing, how I was raised. I had a lot of siblings, so you know how that is, right? When you're among siblings, you know if this one is laughing at you, we gotta tough up, right? My mom, she used to correct me for every little thing. Sometimes I felt like it was overly at the time, but you know what? I felt like what she did really helped prepared me for today, because I'm not afraid to be approached. I'm not afraid to take criticism. I'm not afraid to, I will know when someone is trying to offend me or trying to disrespect me, and I'll know the difference between them, or if someone is giving me some constructive criticism to make improvement. That's just what it is. So we got to identify those things to know, okay, is this person really trying to help me? You see where I'm going with this? So, why some people have thick skin? Well, as I said it before, it has a lot to do with upbringing, right? Strong sense of self, sometimes resilient mindset. Like, people have this mindset where, okay, it doesn't matter what you do or what you say, I know I'm going to thrive, right? I know I'm going to do this, right? They're not seeking validation. Even when the world come at them, right, trying to break them, they going to hold it. They're going to say, look, no matter what they're doing, I'm going to keep going, right? So I'm like that too. Because when I look at my past, like doing businesses and what didn't work out for me, I could have quit long time. I could have been one of those people who was so sensitive, don't want to try anything. But for me, it doesn't matter what happened. If whether it worked or not, I'm gonna still go out there. I'm gonna still approach. Another thing too, I remember back in the days where I was trying different stuff and I may try to pitch opportunities to certain people on Facebook. And then I may stop and then years come again and I'm like, okay, now I have another opportunity, a business opportunity. And then I go on Facebook, right? And I'm pitching again. I could have said, no, these people know me and this and da 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 da. But I said, listen, some will receive while some won't. That's just what it is. Yes. I'm not no Dr. Camz. I'm just saying. I don't know it all, but I'm just talking from experience, okay? But yes, you will thrive. You will thrive. hmm So, like I was saying, it's just that with thick skin, I'm glad that I have more thick skin than being sensitive because I'm prepared for the world. No matter what comes at me, no matter what approach me, I just feel like, listen, I'm going to get back up no matter what. Okay? But overall, there's too many sensitive people in this world. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with me? I feel like there's so much super, like, even at work, when I go to work and there's certain, like, student that they're not doing certain things a certain way and they don't want to be corrected. They felt like they know it all. And I said to myself, you know what? I can't do much because if the parents are home and aren't doing it, who is me? You know? Um, but they can't be corrected. These children nowadays, we live in a world now where these kids, they don't like to take correction. And it all starts from home. Like as parents, we got to spend time with our children. We got to correct them when they are wrong. We got to identify and let them know the reason why we are correcting them, right? Why are we giving them feedback when things aren't going right? Like when I don't feel like we're spending enough time doing that. Kenya said, yes, yes, definitely. Uh, it could be an environment thing and the makeup of every person to defend and make excuses. That's true too. That's true. I find Nathan's approach on correction towards King David very fascinating. How does that go again? Tell me, Kenya. Explain that to me. I like to know the Nathan's approach on correction. Let me know. But guys, let me tell you, it's like even like my children, there are times like all my kids, they all have different personality. And I remember like whenever they would do something wrong and sometimes they'll say, Mom, why this? Like back in the days, it was so different. I remember like if I told like my parents told me to do something and I would ask the question, why? Sometimes it's either bomb, go, that type of thing. My approach is different, right? And I feel like it doesn't make my kids like sensitive. It makes them ask questions. So if I were to say, like to do something and they would say, okay, mom, why? I'm going to take the time out and I'm going to explain to them why, right? I think those things are important. Communications are important. It's very important for us to do, right? Um, Another thing why some of us are thick-skinned is experience and exposure, right? Repeated criticism or challenges have toughened us mentally. I am one of those people, like criticism. I've went through like a lot, like hard times, uh, coming from Jamaica here, I've been there, had those experiences, and so it put me into this situation where that I'm not to be offended, and that's just what it is. When David took Uriah's wife, Nathan confronted him about it in a twist. Okay, okay, I got you. Okay, okay. I see what you're saying now. Yes. So we just have to use wisdom, y'all. Like we just have to use wisdom. And this world that we live in now, it's like I feel like there's no growth because people can't be corrected anymore. You can't say stuff to people because they get jumpy or they feel like they use this mechanism as oh, she's bullying me. Like if you say something to them, they feel like you're trying to cow them down. That's a Jamaican terms. I don't know if you understand. Like you're trying to bullying them to believe in or um, aggressively persuade, if you will. But that's not it. It's like you would never get better if you don't take someone else's feedback, right? It's hard. And I see it all the time. I see it all the time in school. I see it all the time on the job. Even like when I go out and socialize and I listen to certain people and they may say things and I don't know everything. It's like sometimes you can't agree to disagree either, you know. So but yeah, we're all some of us we have the mixture, and then you have some people who are just super sensitive. There's no percentage of the no thick skin, nothing there. It's just sensitive to the core. Yep. But thank God, I must say I am happy that this girl have 80% of thick skin than sensitive because it has helped me a lot. Okay, a lot of trust me, a lot. Um, and I've learned that I don't have to be like if I'm trying to get my point across, I don't have to be disrespectful. I can express myself respectfully, right? So hello, motivational minister. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. For those who just hop in, please go ahead for me. Nice up this streaming. Yes, run it up. Yeah, so we're talking about sensitive versus thick skin. Which one are you really? I want to hear from you, Mr. Billy. Let me know. So for me, I measure mine like I am sensitive, but I feel like I'm 20% sensitive as opposed to, I'm 80% thick skin, 20% sensitive, right? I'm sensitive when it comes down to my kids. Not saying that no one can speak with my kids. That's not what I'm saying. But I could tug it through this world, because I'm approachable, or I can take feedback. I know how to approach the world, and that's what happened when we have majority 80% sensitivity. It makes it hard for you to thrive in this world because then no one can approach you. Every little thing you're gonna feel like someone is attacking you, or you're gonna feel like someone is bullying you. And sometimes people mix it. No, you got to know the difference when someone is correcting you, right? And Not because they're correcting you doesn't mean that they're bullying you. They're just helping you to mitigate, make improvement moving forward. But sometimes we get it all twisted. That sounds about right. What's that? That sounds about right. The 80%, 80/20. Yeah, but I'm happy that my upbringing, how I was raised. Thank God, like growing up with so many siblings, and my mom, she was like hard to the core, strong personality, right? And I think I got that from her. So I'm able to face the world, the good, the bad, the ugly. Mm-hmm. 80/20. Okay, got you, got you. When you say 80/20, 80% sensitive or 80% thick skin? It also depends on who's giving it feed. That is so true. Right. That is true. Because feedback, taking feedback from people who has no experience, it's wild. you know. But again, we gotta use like wisdom, right? Can't be sensitive with every little thing. And I've seen it many times, especially like in a classroom, on the job, thing of that nature. Another thing too with being thick-skinned, right? It's emotional maturity, right? You're prepared when things approach you, whether it's good or bad. You're still matured in your mind. Like you're not gonna um, answer it with ignorance, right? But rather you'll use emotional intelligence on how to answer it, right? You don't gotta be nasty because someone says something to you. 80% thick skin. Sorry, I'm eating dinner at the same time. Okay, okay, I got you. I got. You know what? I was pulling your feet, your foot just now when I said that because I see you put 80/20. I figured that's what you were saying, but I was trying to pull your foot just now. So yeah. So but like I said, sensitivity comes from past trauma, upbringing, the way how you were raised, not being corrected too often, get away with a lot of wrong when you need to be corrected. And it all depends. It all depends. Some of us, I feel like everyone has a little, have sensitivity. It's just a measurable, like which one is it more sensitivity than being thick skinned. I'm glad that for me is 80% of thick skin and 20% of sensitivity. 80/20 guaranteed survival is in the cookware. Mm-hmm. Even the 80/20 rules, right? Even that. The Bible talks about not being easily angered. Don't be a hothead and don't hang around those like that. That is true. Mm-hmm. Hello, sis. I'll be on a call. See you again. No problem, Dr. Soimi. Thank you. Appreciate you for being here, okay? And thank you for engaging. Appreciate that. Don't be easily offended. Yes, yes. That is so true. It's not good to be easily offended. But again, if we're not trained, like if parents don't do their job in terms of correcting their children and give constructive criticism, then they're not prepared for the world. They're not prepared for when someone approach them, something that is not something that they don't like. They sometimes they mix bullying with can't take in correction or feedback or something to that sort. Hello, I'm going to say 365. How are you? Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. For those who just hop in, go ahead for me and double tap. We're speaking on sensitive versus thick skin. Thank you for being here, okay? So let me ask you, how's your day going so far? And then also, which one are you? Thank you. Appreciate that. Which one are you? Are you sensitive or thick skin? And if you should measure it, is it 80% thick skin, 20% sensitive, or 50-50? Or either you're just sensitive all the way or you're thick skin all the way. Which one? Let's talk about it. That's what we're talking about today. It's important for us to balance them though. Thick skin, grew up in Milwaukee and Jersey 100%. All right, all right. Okay, I got you. I got you. Same thing for me. I'm thick skin. I was raised in a big family, and so we weren't having that at all with my if somebody bothered me and I cried, they were gonna bother me more, right? Or they was gonna tease me more, and I had to tough it up, you know. Or my mom, whenever my stepmom, I remember if I've done anything wrong, she nip it right away. She's corrected me so that I don't make the same mistakes, you know. But in this world, this generation right now, we hardly see those things anymore. Like people or parents, rather, they do not want to correct their children. You know, whenever they do something wrong, they don't identify the reason why or, you know, what they should do. It's not like that anymore. And so people are now easily to be offended for every little thing you throw at them. And that's why some employees, they can't stay in their job for a long time because, you know, if they haven't done something right and their managers or supervisor or whatever, whoever approach them and say, you know what, let's coach you on this. You know, you're not doing this right. Well, they're quickly so offended and now they want to quit their job. They're not willing to take constructive criticism to make improvement, to improve on their work tasks, or, you know. So it's funny, but that's what it is. But yes, 365, definitely that thick skin, we need it for this world. We need it. Mr. Billy said, my biggest revelation on offense is that offensive is a choice. We must learn to master it because it's the bait that Satan uses to destroy your momentum. That is so true. Absolutely. That is true. Yes. And you know, it helps a lot with personal development. It helps with your business. Like for me, I was saying earlier that, like, I've tried different things in my life. Can you imagine if I was sensitive? Can you imagine if I was 80% sensitive? How could I start, like, when this don't work out? How could I start the next one? You see, so thank God I'm one of them that even if this isn't working out, I'm going to try something else. I'm not afraid to get up, brush off myself. But sensitive people, they don't try. One thing that don't work, that's it. They wrap it up. They give up. They're going to throw in the towel. But thick-skinned people, they have resilience. Okay? They are resilient, rather. They're the one that continue to get up and try. They are the one that they will take criticism and go back, and they'll just go, you know, start reflecting. Okay, how can I make changes? That's just what it is. So I'm going to say, if I was to say which one is better, thick skin goes a long, long way. Okay? It goes a long way because it helps you to continue to grow in your life. Growth mentally, physically. Yeah. We're not easily to give up. Yeah, so I'm just happy that I'm teaching my children also, you know, teaching them about not being easily offended about everything, know the difference, right? We got to know the difference between when someone is offending you, bullying you, and when someone is, giving you constructive criticism. Yeah, we've got to know the difference. All right, let me just break really quick. So this is my Wake Up and Thrive brand. I am pushing my brand. As you guys can see, I believe most of you are able to see that I changed my name from Camz to Wake Up and Thrive with Camz. We're ending off the year trying to, do some new things, trying to see if I'm just running some tests right now with my channel, changing the name, pushing my brand right now, and then we'll able to see if my channel is moving. Now let me just give you a quick update for those who have been riding with me for a long time. I've talked about not posting shorts anymore at least for right now, because I was surpassing my long form videos, and so excuse me, and so I had about like over 200 and something shorts, and I had to stop. So now my long form videos, I made over 200 and change long form, and so I'm continuing to do that so I can override and to see if my channel will make improvement with long form. Also, I think I created about 175 live streams since the time I start going live. So in total, I have about 670 something videos in total, but now my long form surpasses my short form. So I'm just giving you guys an update on that, letting you guys know what's going on. Um, and that's that. But I'm trying to come out here as often as I can. It's just a little challenging right now. I got a lot. Every now and then I have things that populate, and those things are important that I have to take care of, right? So, which is what brings me to only, being here this week. Hopefully, I can do another live tomorrow and also Friday, hopefully, right? Hopefully. I wanted to come out here live on Friday, but it wasn't possible. I was busy. I was doing some things and here and there, but I'm happy to be here, y'all. There are different topics I want to try, speak on, build some engagement up here. As you can see, my Wake Up and Thrive brand, I'm trying to push that right now. So I'm just trying little things here and there. Let me see something. I want to see what comes up on my, I know I did change my the name, so I want to see what comes up. Okay. All right. So I still see, you know what? I think that with me changing my name on my profile, I'm not sure if it's going to mess with my live. Maybe people won't recognize that I changed the name, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We're just trying some new things here. So, yes, I'm happy to be here, y'all. And as you guys can see, my name is still Camz. I just changed the name to Wake Up and Thrive with Camz because I'm kind of pushing my brand right now. And we'll see how things go. But this topic, I wanted to speak on it because we can help each other to grow, to thrive, when it comes down to personal development, working on becoming a better version on ourselves. This world that we live in, you know how it is, super sensitive. Not much you can say to people anymore. Any little thing you say, people are quick to just be ignorant, jump off, ready to start this, start that. And I feel like with the sensitivity of this world, it causes us to lack growth. And I just feel like, if some of us were more on the thick-skinned side, we would have surpassed, or we would have made improvement on a lot of things that needs to, especially teaching our children, and it's not so. But I know it's a super sensitive topic, and just wanted to speak on that today. Not going to be here for long. I think this is it for the day. Hopefully tomorrow I'll come back out here and we'll speak on something else. All right. I know this live is short. I got things to do, but we'll definitely catch up, okay? For those who just hop in, I hope you guys can catch the replay later, and I will see you guys another time, all right? So let me see who was here. We had King Grayson that was here. We had Dr. Soimi. We had Kenya that was here today. Thank you for being here. We have Motivational Minister, and we got 365 that is here. So y'all, I know it's not a lot of us today, but which is fine. You know, when you're inconsistent, you get inconsistent results. I'm okay with that. I understand that. I just got to come up here and show up more often. I figure that much. Thank you, Kenya. Appreciate it so much. Thank you for being here. And we'll definitely catch up on some other topics. I wanted to speak on that today because the world needs to hear it. Hopefully they don't censor this, you know, because I know how it is. When you start speaking about the world, the economy, sensitivity, bullying, you know, and those type of things, sometimes it could be as what YouTube would call, I don't even want to say it. But yes, I'm happy to be here to speak on this topic. We'll catch up on it another time. I did post a long form video today. I would love for you to tune in on that video. Share your feedback with me. Y'all know me already. I love feedback to make improvement. If there's anywhere, anything at all I can make improvement on, let me know. Watch it, okay? It's called respect hard time and struggle, because this is why. That's the name of the video. So go ahead and check it out. Watch it. Leave your comment. Let's talk about it. And I'll see you in another live, okay? Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.